Here we are, you guys, the C7 Corvette Z06 equipped with a manual transmission. I've already done an automatic one, and I've done my research on the manual, so I'm excited to see how they compare and also talk about some of the issues you may encounter if you're looking at getting one of these in the future. First of all, before we go for a drive and talk about all that, I mean, this is an absolutely beautiful spec. It's not too flashy, it's just classy. I love the gray, the black accents. Of course, this is a Z06, it's a little bit wider in the front. You have the badge, you have the additional vent, and if you're wondering, these are not the OEM wheels. Unfortunately, these wheels are known to crack. There's a lawsuit open against GM for that, so the owner decided to put aftermarket wheels on. But honestly, I think the way these things look fit this car so nicely. They're like ninja stars. So cool. And of course, in the back you get clear tail lights, and every single vent on this car, by the way, is functional. That is what's absolutely awesome about these Z06s. Let's pop the hood real quick. I've always loved the way you open up the hoods on these cars, and this hood is extremely light, by the way. You can pick it up with one finger. 6.2 liter supercharged V8 that makes 650 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque, all in a car that just weighs above 3,500 pounds. That right there explains why this can do the quarter mile in just under 11 seconds. For $80,000. How insane is that? A big part of that is big thanks to these tires. The width back here is 335 from the factory. This whole thing is absolutely insane, given the fact that it's affordable. Now, $80,000 is still expensive, but seriously, I mean, these beat Lamborghinis in roll races. Like, what more could you ask for? All right, let's go for a drive. First things first, let's go ahead and switch it over to track mode. You may have just heard that. That's going to open up the exhaust valves, change the infotainment system, make the steering a lot stiffer, and well, make this thing a track beast. It literally is a track beast even if it's in tour mode. Man, this is so exciting to be able to drive this thing. Interior is still nice. I mean, you just don't need more than this. Like, yeah, there's a lot of plastic, so the C8, sure, it's a big upgrade, but this car isn't about, like, it's not trying to be a Bentley, it's trying to be a freaking Corvette, and that's exactly what you get. So real quick, to run through a few issues with this car. 1, these can have heating issues. 2, they can have the OEM wheels crack. 3, the belt tensioner is known to fail on these cars. And 4, the manual transmissions. First of all, it feels fantastic. It's very stiff. More on that in a second. But the clutch, it will go faster than you think. This one has just under 21,000 miles on it, as you can see. And yet you get a little bit of a squeak and chattering in first gear when you go and let off the clutch and start to roll. So I've read up on Corvette forums, and there's no known issues of them just failing entirely, but clutch replacements are going to happen sooner than you think. Ideally, get, you know, a different one. But either way, you're still only spending about $70,000 to $80,000 on this car. That makes it the deal of a lifetime. I mean, honestly, the only thing that's really gonna beat this is a Shelby GT500, the S550 models. And yes, I did my research, okay? Don't comment below and say that this thing beats Shelby GT500s. They do not. Maybe some of the older versions they do, but unfortunately the newer GT500s, they win. All right, let's go for a drive. So a very nice thing about the Z06s and manual is that you get rev match, and they're kind of like paddle shifters. These are the exact shape, size, and placement where the paddle shifters are on an automatic. They both do the same thing. When you click it, it'll say off, and if you click it again, that the gear you're in will turn orange, and that indicates that you have auto rev match on. Let's go in and do a pull real quick. So first things first, the fact that that's like legal and that you can actually get that, anyone can just go in a dealership and buy something like this, is absolutely insane to me. That is, it makes your heart sink like crazy. I mean, what even is this? Like, oh my gosh. Oh my, and the downshifts are just incredible too. So if you are very careful with letting off the clutch and matching it with the gas pedal, you're not going to get a whole bunch of chattering. And plus, again, this one only has just barely 21,000 miles on it. So, you know, I'm not getting much of it, but I can feel it start to happen. And I imagine if you drive this thing a whole bunch, it's going to become a bigger and bigger and bigger issue over time. I just get a little bit, like a little bit of vibration, and then it goes, and then it's fine. So it's definitely not, you know, with this car being 20,900 miles, it's not to the point where it's like concerning, but you can definitely start to feel it up and coming. You guys may have heard that as well. That sounded a bit odd. And this thing in first gear at 4,500 RPM is at 45 miles an hour. That is an absolutely insane thing about these Corvette Z06s is, I mean, you really want to be on an open back road or a track because it is just so fast. It's not, you can't actually put it into words. It's just the feeling when you floor it is ridiculous. And the traction system in here works very well too. When you start to lose traction, it'll let you know. It'll cut the power for a second, then put it back down once it starts to grip. I really like how this thing is set up. Of course, even though the tires in the back are 335 in width, you can't make a 3,500 pound car grip with 650 horsepower. That will never get old. It is so much fun. I mean, you don't even actually need to be flooring this thing. You can just downshift and listen to how absolutely menacing it is. And with the exhaust valves open, it sounds 20 times better. That's the only way I would ever drive this car unless I'm starting it up in the morning and not trying to wake the neighbors. That is stupid fast. You know, this thing is definitely very tight, and you absolutely have to commit to putting it in gear more than a lot of other cars I've driven. So, which is good. You know, this is like a track weapon, so I guess kind of, I really don't want to be slamming it into gear, but you have to do it a little bit harder and commit more than you would in a lot of other manual transmissions, which does make this thing just feel even more sporty and cool. So definitely not here to complain about that. It's just something you'd have to get used to, because every car is different, every clutch, every gear shifter. That's what's so awesome about manuals. They have their own little personalities. And guys, initially I really thought that getting in a 650 horsepower manual transmission car would be like too much for me, because you have to handle the power and the shifting. It's really not. The automatic, the speed, you won't get used to it, but this will ensure that no matter how many months you have this car, you'll just be laughing every single time you get in it. That's what's incredible. The only downside is the fact that you're gonna have to deal with some of the issues that this car has, but I would argue because of the price point and the value that it provides, that's okay. I mean, I would accept the issues that you're gonna encounter, which is with any car you buy. So I wouldn't really let that be a reason to just say, nah, I'm not gonna get it because the car has issues. Well, unfortunately, no matter what you get, you're gonna have to deal with something. And if it's more of an exotic, then you're just dealing with ultra expensive maintenance costs. And this one isn't like ultra expensive to maintain per se when you compare it to like an Audi R8, an R35 GTR, a Lamborghini, and yes, I am comparing it to those cars because this thing is genuinely faster than those. Man, when you're in traffic, you just want to snap your fingers, let all the cars disappear, and just go ham. But then again, you gotta be, if you're gonna own this car, you definitely have to be very mature, because that temptation is so strong. I would definitely have a strong connection of lawyers, even if you're gonna drive this thing. So I've started to build up my connection because of well, I don't want to say why, but I think you know. That is ridiculous. That traction light comes on pretty quick too. Oh my gosh. And another thing about the manual, comparing it to the automatic, is the fact that when you are in the automatic and you hit the downshift on the paddle shifters, you have to wait like a whole entire second for it to actually drop a gear. This one, it's at your control. So actually throwing it and downshifting in the second and hearing that crisp downshift from behind you, it is unmatched. It sounds so good, and it just, the second you put it into gear, you get that noise, which makes it so much more enjoyable over the automatic. That is absurd. Yeah, I just want to keep downshifting this thing. Let's go ahead and slow down just a tad, and then let's speed up here and just listen to some crisp downshifts. All right, let's do it. It's so fast, even at 2,000 RPM. That is absolutely amazing. Wow. And of course, this thing has incredible braking power as well. 6 piston brakes in the front, 4 in the back. It does the job. Yeah, I love how tight the manual transmission is. It feels like a racing car should feel. Steering wheel, I guess, you know, yeah, I wish it was a little bit more tight than this, had a little bit more weight to it, but it's honestly okay. The things I'm gonna complain about with this car aren't even, you know, when you weigh out the pros and the cons, the pros just so far out exceed the cons that it makes sense to just buy this thing. This is just amazing. Yeah, you can get the C8 Corvette. The C7 Z06 blows the C8 Stingray out of the water. Looks-wise, I am somebody that likes the C8 design a little bit more because it looks like supercar-ish. But the C7, I mean, I've had a couple people comment and say like, oh, the C7 Corvette, the last time a Corvette actually looked like a Corvette. And I can agree with that statement. Like, this thing is definitely true to the design of a Corvette, where the C8, not really so much. And then if you were looking at a C8 Z06, well, now we're talking about like $180,000. Come on, this thing's like $100,000 cheaper than that. And yeah, that one arguably sounds better because it's naturally aspirated. It sounds like a Ferrari, but I don't know. I mean, this thing still just has like so much to offer. Now, if the C8 Z06 and the C7 Z06 were the same price, okay, yeah, I'd probably go with the C8 Z06, but they're not. This thing's like over half less than, and this one has a supercharger on it, but the sound that it makes is just like devilish. It is unlike any other car that I have driven before. And you can definitely hear that supercharger start to creep up, as long as you're not like really romping on it, because the exhaust sound is so loud and so menacing that it'll actually overpower any other sound around you. Outside sound, wind noise, the supercharger, the sound that this thing produces is just like it's otherworldly. And as for ride quality, by the way, you can see me probably bumping up and down a little bit. It's rough, like you feel everything about it, but that's okay. It's a C7 Z06. You want to be engaged with the road and get a lot of feedback with this thing. So you can even feel it in the steering wheel when you grip it. A lot of the vibrations, bumps and all that, which is really nice. This is not gonna be a commuter car unless you really want it to be. If I lived anywhere near back roads, like if I had to take like 20 minutes of back roads to work, this would be the ultimate commuter car. You would not need to have a cup of coffee. You just need the 6.2 liter supercharged V8. A little bit of chatter there. Probably held the RPMs a little bit too high on that takeoff there. It's so squirmy too. You have to really ease on it, or just romp on it and trust that the traction control system has your back, which it definitely does. Yep, I definitely need to go back to my Mustang EcoBoost. This is too much fun. I'd like to think I'm mature, but if you think you're a mature person, get in this thing and see how long that lasts, because I promise you it's not going to last very long. And if you really go slow with letting off the clutch, not a whole lot of vibrations or chattering, which is really nice. 20 miles per hour in first gear at 2,000 RPM. Imagine that'll do it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this car. It is insane. Appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.